Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Gemini. If Gemini is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so this is a bonus reading for Gemini, and we have the Ace of Wands tonight. So often I think when I see the Ace of Wands, oh yes, a new passion, a new love. And immediately I see we have this beautiful butterfly. Okay, you can see the outline of the butterfly here and the cute little head up here, little antennae. And so when we have the butterfly, we immediately know this is all about metamorphosis. This is all about growth, about personal evolution, working on aspects of self or developing them. Maybe going through some ordeals and learning some things, gaining some tools and skills to kind of enhance your life in different ways. And so this is a huge formation, and I know that this is a powerful energy, and it makes sense. We have that fire element in the Ace of Wands, and I absolutely feel like you have set out on a journey to better self and, maybe have a continued education. Maybe it is that you are being trained in some new aspect of your work, your career. This could be, like I said, maybe a new relationship or a new dynamic within a relationship, maybe, something where it's very impassioned, very interested. I think you're just very focused on this right now. And as a being, it's helping you develop. I think you have a better understanding of the world in general, and how to move through that, how you would like to move through that. Okay, so let's keep going. So immediately I'm looking at this, and it really feels like almost kind of an intelligence or some kind of entity, or even like something within the psyche that has been with you since you were young. I feel like there's a real sense of self-doubt that has been planted in you. There is even almost maybe rising to the level of a real anxiety, right? I feel like there's always kind of been this thing, and it almost seems like it's personified in your mind as something that lingers in the background of your life, almost kind of like, some people have like hauntings in their home or poltergeist activity. They might have like shadow people, shadowy figures. This is almost kind of like something that is attached to your life, right? And if that it is something outside of yourself that kind of found you as a transient spirit or intelligence, or if this is something that is a thought form, which a thought form is where it's a whole, there are many different thinkings about this, but it is when you are intensely thinking about something or someone, right? You create somebody in your mind, like you could think of even like a imaginary friend, right? You put a lot of emotion, attention, time into this thinking, into this concept, into this being that you are creating. And then it starts to manifest. past, right? In the spiritual kind of, if you could imagine, like if there was like an aura around you, or like kind of some kind of membrane that kind of surrounds you, and it kind of lives in that place, right? Not exactly manifest, but not living within your consciousness either. It is kind of, you know, in a transitory place, right? In between. But it can, if you continue to put the work into it, the focus, right? And it's not just like, there's more to it, right? There are, you know, deep tantric or Buddhist, even in the occult, Western occultism, a lot of traditions about how we create these thought forms, golems. I forget what it's called, egregores or something. Groupthink is another. But also, yes. So anyways, you can get to a point where it does manifest, okay? And it's like a physical thing, you know, and that might be that it's something that torments you. It might be something that feels very familiar. It could even manifest as like a human being and go out there in the world. We're talking about something like, you know, Frankenstein's monster, but it comes from your psyche, right? And so I feel, and I'm looking at this here, we have a child, we have this thing that's kind of behind it. Yeah, it's been the source of a lot of self-doubt in your life. This is a thing that it's like whenever you have an interest in trying something, doing something, making a change in your life, you know, beginning a new path, there's this whisper of doubt. And maybe even more than doubt. It could feel like doom. It could feel like, you know, real, like a terror rising up. Now, I look down here and we have a person who is, you know, they're holding something, right? And then we have this kind of beast that's biting its leg. And I feel like you have come to this place in your life where you're not going to take this anymore. I think you've become quite aware of this energy, right? This part of self, this thing that found you, attached itself to you, whatever it is, you are so acutely aware that this is, you know, within your life. And I feel like you have begun the process of dispelling this thing, okay? To purge it, to let it out, to let it go, you know, because it is not of service to you. This is something that probably really kind of, you know, dampens a lot of things that you've wanted to do in your life, a lot of your dreams. You feel unable to get to a point where you can really start building towards those things. And a lot of it, I think, is just being afraid of whatever, if it's failure or you know, different, I mean, there's so many reasons, right? We all have our own anxieties and things that we avoid and so on. So, you know, I do feel that this is really the beginning of letting go of this old mode, okay? Stepping into a world where you are free of, you know, this, it is this kind of imprisonment, right? This spiritual, this mental thing that just absolutely feels oppressive, okay? Releasing yourself of that kind of self-judgment, okay? Feeling like, it's like a calling for confidence. Finding something that you really love and cherish and you know that you're good at and you continue to work on getting better at it and deriving the confidence. And it's like your little key in your pocket, right? This is going to open doors for you. This is going to allow you to shake that beast away, you know, to get free of it, to let it. And here we are. We have the skull right here, okay? And let it perish. And that really is what it is. Letting this thing fall away, to wither, to go through its stages of dissolution, and to, you know, kind of, if you could imagine, kind of just turn to dust and be blown away in the winds. And looking forward to your future, which is bright. You're not shackled to this energy anymore, okay? And the things that I feel that you've been wanting to try, they start to come in sight, okay? You can see them, you can perceive them. Now we have, it looks like, well, a Sagittarius person, I think. We have a Sagittarius person. We have, oh, it looks like, oh, what is that? The Apache dress. I think it's, well, let me see. I think I have a thing saved about it. It is a ritual costume, or, you know, sacred dress that, and I feel like it is the devil. It's for, it is for dance. It's for like a sacred dance. I'm trying to think, and I'm sorry. I'm not, I usually wouldn't try to bring something up. I don't remember the name of it. But here's the thing, is that it feels important. Immediately, I feel like I recognize it. And, oh yes, here we go. Apache Devil Dancer. That's what the name of the photo is anyways. So, kind of this beautiful, and I'm not going to show the picture because I don't know if it's trademarked, but you can look it up. And it's by John Candelario. That's the name of the photographer. So look that up. It's a beautiful ritual garb, okay? And so I feel that, yeah, this is really a moment of turning towards your ability, you know, to drive things out, first of all, but also to do your own kind of self-exorcism of these things that really do. They hold us down. We get into these corridors, these labyrinths of thinking, okay? And we can get lost in that maze. We can get lost in that terror, that avoidance, feel like there's nowhere that we can turn within our lives to change things. Everything we do fails. Everything we do is, you know, it causes that you know, shut down. You know, they say that there's the fight or flight response. Well, there's also the freeze, right? And I feel like there are times where you get into a place of really freezing, okay? And so this is a place where it's not that, no longer, right? And so, yeah, finding that beautiful confidence to do the sacred dances, to do the sacred work, to align yourself with spirit, to drive out the things within your life that do not belong there. If that is a person or a thing or a way of living or a way of thinking, whatever it is. I feel like you are absolutely over just, you know, surviving, just existing, and being worried about doing anything other than that. So we also have the Sagittarius person over here. And I feel that this is somebody who is, and you can see at the top, it almost kind of does looks like a guardian angel. This is, or a fairy godmother, right? And so I feel like there's a Sagittarius person in your life who you connect with deeply, that is maybe a mentor that looks out for you, is always gives it to you straight, right? They're loving, they're caring, there's unconditional love, but they will also be very honest with you. And that is an expression of that love. They never go out of their way to hurt your feelings or make you feel small or, you know, to criticize you or anything like that, but they will tell you in their honest opinion, in their perception, what it is, right? What they see, you know? And I think that this is somebody that you gravitate towards because it has helped dislodge you from this place of feeling kind of trapped, okay? So I just absolutely feel such a beautiful, beautiful new beginning. Now, we also have this dancer up here, okay, who is standing on top of a turtle. And the turtle is, well, you know, kind of a steady, consistent, slow moving, but still movement, right? Slow and steady wins the race kind of deal. Now, dancing upon the back of it. Now, the turtle is also a symbol of life, of the world, of a beginning, right? It is definitely represented in various cosmologies, or is it cosmology? Yeah, beginnings, creation stories or beginning stories. And so I feel like, yeah, this is a beginning for you. Now, maybe it's not as quick and sudden and, you know, kind of like the Big Bang where everything suddenly is there and it's accelerating and it's becoming and it's becoming and it's becoming. It maybe doesn't feel that, you know, pronounced. But it is. There are baby steps into this new way of being, this new way of living your life, showing up for yourself and becoming a very active participant in the life that you want to lead, right? Living with intention. And, you know, there's no better transition in life than going from a place where you feel you have the inability to do the things that you want to do, that you are dreaming of doing, and transitioning into being able to find the footing so that you may begin doing those things, achieving those goals, you know, living out the dreams. Okay, so this is all in all very beautiful, very powerful in my estimation. And it seems that you have, you know, a good relationship with this Sagittarius person. Okay, so we have the letter W. We also have the letter T. Okay, and it looks like maybe even 2T. Okay, so this one, it says CAR. So I almost feel like seeing that. I'm like, is there something to do with the car? And it doesn't feel like a bad thing. Okay, this isn't bad news. I do feel like this is, yeah, maybe like getting a new car. Maybe, you know, there was some issues with the car, but they're fixed. But I think there's been an emphasis on car, on something to do with a vehicle. But it seems to be going your way, right? So that's good news. That's definitely good news. Now we have a large A right here. Look at that, a large A. It also looks like a house, okay? We have it looks like a duck over here. We have a heart on top of the A or the house. So I wonder if you are in a relationship with a person with an A name, or you live in a town that starts with an A. There's something about this. Maybe your street starts with an A, but it does. It feels like a strong home, a safe place where you want to be, but it also has the A energy around it, okay? There's a lot of love there too. And that could be that you yourself love the home. You love living there. It could be that you live there with the loves of your life, right? Your family, your grandkids, your children, your significant other. Absolutely. Now we do have somebody, it feels like they have a volatile nature. Nothing huge though, but they can be quite mercurial, prone to kind of mood swings, maybe more on the angry or ornery side. But this is somebody you love, and I think this is somebody that you look out for them, or you look out for each other, okay? I don't know. I'm trying to see why this comes up. Here we go. Pudgy's singing the songs of his people. Meow. So I feel like we also have the fire, we have the moon, we have a bird flying. It looks like a dove. So I almost feel like this person, this volatile person, there's maybe there's a connection of night with them for some reason. Maybe you only see them in the evenings or at night. Maybe that's the only time that you can talk to them. You're busy and that's when you have free time. Maybe you've spent a lot of time outside with them, like camping or going for hikes, or, I don't know, exploring the world together, maybe when you were younger. But I just feel like maybe they have transitioned, because we have that dove who's flying. So there seems to be peace here. Or maybe it is that they've just come into a place in their life where they have done work and they are letting go of a lot of that anger. We also have the Magician up here. So I do feel there's this real awareness, I think, for you of being able to reconstruct your life, to be a world builder, to be somebody who creates your perception, the reality that you live in. This is the example that I give about how perceptions can change so drastically. When I was younger, I've been in recovery for almost 10 years. Everywhere I lived, right, I thought, oh yeah, there's there's so many crazy things going on, crime and drugs and I knew that kind of some of the inner workings of, at least in my neighborhood or the people I hung around in our, wider social groups and stuff. So basically I noticed kind of the underworld or whatever you would call it, right? The underworld of the music scenes and art world. That's basically what I knew. But I would go places and that's what I would notice. 100%, that's where my mind would go, because that was the world that I was living in. That was my perception of the world, right? As somebody who was in my addiction. Now, as I came out of my addiction, or at least active addiction, and I was in recovery, and I realized years later, maybe 5 years in recovery, and, really getting into my adulthood, deeply into my adulthood, I would look around and I see, oh, this is a great town. This is beautiful. There's all these things to do and cultural enrichment. And, oh my gosh, I really love the neighbors. And, I'm gardening and these are the things that I'm thinking about, right? And when I go back to places that I lived before when I was younger and in my youth, I don't notice that stuff that I did before as much as I used to, because my perception of the world has changed, because I fill my life with other things. Now, am I naive? No, I know what's going on. I know what things are going on in the world, I didn't lose my ability to see, how people live and things, but it isn't it isn't as highlighted in my mind because that's not part of my consciousness. I'm never really around people who drink, who are doing drugs or, whatever, or inebriated in general. Rarely am I around people like that. Maybe at social things, like if I go to a fair or something like that. But, and this is the thing, it changes. It absolutely changes. And that to me truly is an indicator that we have control over how we experience the world. It might not always feel like that. It absolutely sometimes feels like, we have no ability to change anything in our life. But that's not the reality of it. That's not actually what's going on. It is very much about the things that we fill our time with, what we let into our sacred spaces, what we are thinking about, right? The things that we are sitting and contemplating, the environment that we are immersed in, the things that we spend time working out, right? Our problem solving, getting our cognitive abilities involved, right? If you are constantly immersed in problematic or triggering or stressful things, the complexities of a toxic relationship, and there's always fighting and back and forth and this constant loop, then that's what your reality is going to be. That's how you're going to perceive the world. But if you are doing things that feel nourishing to your soul, are healing, that you are, learning a bit. I really fully am so in a belief that especially people with trauma, people with like mental health stuff, people who are in addiction or coming out of addiction or whatever, in recovery, growing things, right? Gardening, being in nature. Now that alone isn't going to fix you, of course, or heal you or change how you perceive. But when you start to notice how things work, when you start to really watch the processes that happen, when you plant a seed and you care for it and you cultivate it, and then you are able to plant it in the yard and watch it and see what it needs and what it doesn't like, and just this whole process. And then the greater processes that are involved in it, the animals, the bugs, the sunshine, the waters, all these things that interact with one another. And you begin to really, I think, remap your neural systems. Life does seem more complex in a lot of ways, but also there's an ease. There's a slowing down of the energies, because it takes time for things to grow. It takes time for the hours of the day to go by, right? And so I think it's important for people, if possible, to take up things like gardening, or, whatever it is, having projects, having hobbies, learning how to do things. Practical things, right? How to, I don't know, like build things, or I'm trying to think, like woodworking it keeps coming to mind for some reason. But yes, hands-on, tactical things, or it could be a computer things or whatever it is, right? Being immersed in something. It will change your perception of reality. When you start to do things that make you feel confident while you're also learning, and you're learning the natural ebb and flow of things, okay? So we are the magicians of our own lives. Absolutely. We are the architects of our own lives. Absolutely. That almost completely comes from our perceptions. Period. All right. So let's go ahead And we're gonna do, I was trying to remember, did I do it? Yes, I did the bowl already, or the plate there, the last part. It's my last reading of the night, so. All right, so we're going to flip through. I'm gonna stop where it feels right. Okay. And I'm going to flip it over. It says Jude's Song, a reminder. For even the most hopeless of lost cases, you can find peace within the strangest of places. You can find peace within the strangest of places. Absolutely. Okay, Gemini, I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you because I do, and I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel so much. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. And it is free to subscribe. Also, if you would like to leave a comment, please do. Especially if it's your first time here. Definitely let me know. Hey, I watched your reading for the first time. So anyways, yes, I'm going to tell you again, I love you. Take care of yourself. We're going to talk in a couple days. Good night, good night, good night.